The following is presented by the Cheeky Bastards.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers, and welcome to the 25th and first edition of Dropping a Bruce for Season 3, the monthly podcast where we watch every single one of Bruce Willis's 40 straight-to-demand releases from his acting career to see if he took the role for a paycheck and dropped a Deuce, or if, in fact, he took the role and gave it his motherfucking all and dropped a Bruce. I am the notorious Scott K.
And my name is Mr. Smith.
And together, we will continue to be your hapless stewards on this 40-month journey through the lesser-known films of Mr. Bruce Willis's filmography. This month's stop finds us eager to assault the final full season of this journey as we review 2021's action thriller, Deadlock. Well, Mr. Smith, here we are. Season fucking 3, the last full season on this daunting yet entertaining journey through Mr. Willis's ST fucking Ds. And who knew that we would make it to 2 full fucking seasons before we got our first die-hard wannabe knockoff?
I know, exactly.
Quite an impressive run when you think about it. I actually probably thought we'd have more of those. You know what? It's been so long, I completely forgot that this was an option. Until 15 minutes into the movie. Once the things kick off, I go, is this Die Hard on a damn?
Wait a minute. Yeah,
I know this movie.
But you're absolutely right. I would have thought we'd have had one of these by now, and, you know, whether Bruce Willis knew at this point he was in one or not is a whole other story. But here we are, and yeah, final season. We've broken the back of it. We're now, you know, we've fucking nailed it. You know, if we were going to throw in the towel, we'd have done it by now.
Now, if we throw in the towel, we're just fucking pussies. We're just fucking pussies. But that's not what we are. What, fucking here to amuse you?
You want fucking pussy over here? Over here. Yeah, so
I watched it last night. I don't know when you watched it. I was pleasantly surprised because it doesn't start. We'll get into it.
Because this was awesome.
All right, it's just another police procedural kind of thing. Oh, Bruce is gonna be a bad guy, and then all of a sudden I was like, wait a minute, is this Die Hard? I almost really do wish. There's no notes for it, but we'll get into those in a second. I almost want to know if Bruce knew that he was actually playing Hans Gruber in Die Hard on the Dam. I don't know if he knew he was in that film.
This is it. This is the hand we've been dealt.
But before we both get taken hostage by some terrorists and a man who's not supposed to be there ends up being our only hope for survival, it's time for our...
What you talking about, Willis?
Just the facts, man. Just the facts.
This movie was released in 2021, written by Jared Cohen and Cam Cannon, and directed by Jared Cohen, starring Patrick Muldoon, Bruce Willis, Matthew Marsden, Michael Dvorak, Steven Sefer, Ava Paloma, Christopher Cleveland, Kelsey Rose Weimer, Kelly Ritter, Johnny Messner, and Douglas Matthews, with a running time of 97 minutes. Made on a budget of $11 million and grossing $12,000 at the box office. It holds a 3.6 rating on IMDb with a 0 critics and 10 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. An ex-military man working at a Georgia power plant has to spring into action to prevent disaster when a group of rogue soldiers gain control of the plant and take the employees hostage. 308 Entertainment and Save and Film presents Deadlock.
Ronald Whitlock? I'm not sure if you heard, but there's been an incident.
My son?
Cops killed him.
It's a bit more complicated than that.
It's crystal clear to me.
I did not think I'd see your ass in work today.
We come from tougher cloth than that.
Weren't you like ex-military or something?
Yeah.
You're a fugitive. You killed 2 cops. I got a bone to pick. For my son. If things don't go to my satisfaction, I'll flood this whole place.
We're all gonna drown.
Sorry, dude. Got a town to save.
There's a rogue hostage with some sort of military background.
Find him.
I gotta figure out a way to stop this fool.
They got guns. You got a goddamn gun. They got better guns.
Open another gate.
They're gonna flood the entire county.
That is beautiful. should try a little bit of crazy.
Mr. Bruce Willis plays Ron Whitlock, a military vet. That's what you do for B-movie action. Everyone has got to have at least one military vet in there to make sure the action feels authentic. But yes, he is a military vet, ex-head of security for a dam, and father of 2 sons, one of which was wrongfully murdered in a drug raid gone bad, while the other son was wrongfully imprisoned after it. These events send him over the fucking edge and on a path of watery vengeance. For reasons we will discuss. This is our 11th of 26 straight-to-video releases that he has done over the last 5 years of his career. This is the 6th of 7 straight-to-demand releases from 2021. Now, I know the plot has already been read to you fine folks. In case you didn't know, we have been hired by Arrow. Arrow has hired us to write the liner notes, the back copy, for the future Bruce Willis STD box set coming to you in 2020. You add in the date, and here's what we've come up with. Former Armor Ranger shows up to work at his job at a Georgia dam, hungover, disappointed that his former coos is banging the straight-laced limp dick manager of the plant. While he goes off to pretend to weld a piece of metal on the dam that has absolutely no need to be welded, the plant is taken over by a group of ragtag Craigslist terrorists put together by a disgruntled retired Army vet and former head of the damn security force, whose son has been wrongfully killed in a drug raid gone bad by the local police, and his other son has been wrongfully imprisoned for it, even though there is no evidence to point that he was a part of it in the first place as well. So he holds the fucking plant and the visiting school children hostage. And unless the cops involved admit that they have made a mistake, he's going to flood the whole fucking county. Because nothing is more vengeful than flooding an entire county and killing hundreds of people because one of your sons, who might be a day trader, is killed and the other, who might like men, is wrongfully imprisoned. I give you Deadlock, a.k.a. Die Hard at the Dam.
You nailed it.
There it is.
You know, now I understand the film.
Now you get the film. Yeah. We'll discuss that in a second.
Get to that.
You know what? There aren't many notes, but we do have a couple of fun reviews, so we'll get at what we can. This film was produced by friend of the podcast, Corey Large. Corey Large, once again, throwing his big dick money from his last movie, Apex, starring role, writing credit, threw all that cash, all that fine cash into the producer's ring. Now, Deadlock was filmed over January and February in 2021 in the state of Georgia. Mr. Willis, no surprise, filmed all of his scenes in one day. However, as we'll discuss, that is kind of impressive considering
that is impressive.
He's in the movie quite a bit.
Yeah.
As is no surprise, Mr. Willis was nominated for a Golden Raspberry for his performance, but as we've said, for all of his 2021 film performances, those nominations were rescinded. And I think we should probably also, or at least I should at least come clean and say, when we thought about starting this podcast prior to the knowledge of him having aphasia, it was the fact that the Raspberries had created a worst role for a Bruce Willis film was the reason we thought about doing Dropping a Bruce, because we wanted to get to the bottom of it. But however, that category's gone and a lot of things have happened since. Now, as I said, the worst performance by Bruce Willis in a 2021 movie was a category that was created in 2021 for the Golden Raspberries. And the movie that he won for and the role. Do you know that answer, Mr. Smith?
I do not.
Surprisingly, he won for his role as James Ford, the Blood General in Cosmic Sin.
Wow.
Yes, that was what they considered to be his worst role of 2021. You and I disagree greatly on that.
Yeah, I'm not with that.
We've got a couple that were far worse. But it doesn't matter. It was rescinded. Didn't even happen. Now, Zachary on Letterboxd writes, I bet Bruce Willis cannot name a single one of these VOD flicks he jumps in and out of. My wallet, on the other hand, has each and every title etched into its dying soul. 1.5 stars. Mark on Letterboxd laments, a late 2021 entry into the jam-packed Bruce Willis spends the entire movie in a chair subgenre. Deadlock is surprising in that Bruce is actually present throughout. Well, physically at least. He's still mumbly and disengaged. 1.5 stars. Chinwanli, that's the name, on Letterboxd points out all Bruce Willis does is sit in a chair and tell people to make calls for him. 0.5 star. Rosie on Letterboxd claims, watching this movie made my COVID worse. 0.5 star. And finally, in a sentiment that I will echo throughout this episode, Ross Boy Ask on Letterboxd writes, almost completely unwatchable, but weirdly, not Willis's worst film of the year, somehow.
Yeah.
0.5 star. So, Sunny point number 1. This is not an EFO production.
True. That was a
What
good
used
sign.
to get you 3/4 hard was that little train coming out the fucking tunnel. The most money they've ever spent is their production logo. That's about as good as it gets for an EFO production.
That's the best effect of any of the movies.
But they are not in this. So I know we've teased that this is Die Hard in a dam. However, unlike our Die Hard film, this movie starts off with no indication that we're going to go that way. In fact, what we are really gleaming on this journey since season 2 is we really don't have a plot for most of these movies. We're just going to put something together because, like Midnight in the Switchgrass, a guy takes a piss under a bridge and kicks a movie off that otherwise we don't have.
Yeah.
Similar things happen here. There's a crackhead who's losing his mind in a house, and he goes to the bathroom. The house is dark, and there's some nefarious-looking people, but there's nothing really illegal going on.
Well, no, usually you'd have a lot of guns laying around. You'd have packets of
drugs,
some sort of substance laying around on a table.
You just got 4 guys sitting there mute, one guy playing a video game,
Duty or whatever.
One guy high on crack cocaine. Just gotta go take a shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, parked
right outside the fucking house.
Outside the fucking house, there's a plumber's truck loaded with 4 cops, and they go running in. All right. So one, as I'm also learning, the people who write these movies have absolutely no fucking idea how police raids work, but they just use them for these limp dick, veil thin plots so that we can get into these 2 big crime films. Now, they bust through the door. Well, 2 guys go through the front, 2 guys go to the back. And we'll get to what the back. Yeah. Trust me, they didn't film it properly. But anywho, so they go in, and once again, kind of like Survive the Game. When we watch that movie, where like all of a sudden Bruce and his partner just show up to this warehouse and just start shooting people. Same thing.
Just all guns blazing.
They kick the door open. They don't even say freeze, you're under arrest. No, they just kick the door open and they just start shooting at people. And in this section of the raid, no one has a gun right away. Finally, one guy does pull out a gun and he gets killed, but they just come in shooting. So my first thought was dirty cops.
Fair.
And throughout the movie, we get this feeling that they might be dirty cops. However, in fairness, outside of executing these people, basically, which is actually standard procedure now for police enforcement here in America, it's I kick open a door, I feel a little bit scared, I got to shoot everybody because I'm a pussy. Sorry, that's facts. Facts are facts.
Yeah.
But even in the movie, or in this scene, they don't steal any money. There's no dirty cop stuff besides shooting people. That happens. So they eventually tell us what happens in the second part of it, because I forget about it. Because
before we go any further, I watched this twice, right, in one day, because I didn't have a fucking clue what was going on.
Well, what threw me off is they push a body out front. They unzip it or they zip it up. And I remember looking at the body going, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And then they arrest somebody from the doorway they went in. And there's another guy, I'm like, I don't remember seeing him. Well, in a flashback, listen, normally this is something we make fun of VFO. These Saban ones have been somewhat decent. I've seen a couple other Saban movies where, look, for B movie quality, they're decent, right? I mean, there's a B movie. We're not talking about fucking the Oscars, which we're recording on the night of. We're not talking about the Oscars. What we end up finding out in this weird flashback later on is that the back door that they went in, which this apparently police team didn't even case the joint. They didn't maybe do like some investigation to make sure they get the right house. Apparently this was a duplex. Now it's a
bungalow
ranch style home.
Yeah.
What you would call bungalow.
Yeah.
We call ranch style home.
Right.
That is not big enough to be a duplex. However, they pretend it's a duplex. But how they do that is they shoot the front of the fucking house twice and pretend that it's the back of the house. When you can see the back of the house, faces like, so the back of the house is facing like basically a field. So if we were going to be at the back of the house, we should be facing and seeing the road and the truck on behind us instead of the house in the back of the field again. So they use the same house for the same thing for the same purpose. And we're supposed to believe that one of Bruce Willis's kids, or both of his kids, live there together. One of them who gets shot looks like he's a day trader. And he hears someone at their door, so he immediately thinks, the first thing I got to do is grab a gun. It's not even in a seedy neighborhood. Like, you're just like, why would that be your first instinct, is to grab a gun? The other one looks like he was mid-jerking off, and his brother startled him when he came in the room, because he's kind of like, what's going on? And then the other 2 cops kick open the door. They come in. They see him with a gun. And at least this one is more legitimate to shoot him.
Right, he's armed.
And they realize they've got the wrong place. It's a duplex. Okay, fine. Whatever. You know what? We've had less interesting plot interests. So then it goes to one of the more joyful scenes in the film is now 2 cops show up, and Bruce Willis's character, we don't know what he is. We eventually learn through some dialogue. It's still very foggy what he really does. He's sitting He's just sitting at home. He sits a lot. Like, honestly, we're in the sitting season. This is sitting season. I think Bruce is going to be sitting in a lot of our films.
As the reviews have pointed out, he's sitting down pretty much throughout the whole movie.
He stands a few times, but for the most part, he's sitting. But when he does stand, he does action, and by action, he shoots people. Not throwing punches or leaping through the air, grabbing titties. He is just shooting people and then immediately sitting back down and catching his breath.
We'll take what we can get.
So he's sitting there and he's watching the news, and he's already pissed off. And so, as in all great B movies, everyone in well, I mean, listen, honestly, I like to make fun of it, but I do feel like this is shot in Georgia, so I do feel like this really does crystallize what it's like to be white people living in the rural parts of our country who are just paranoid of things that are never going to happen or come to them because they think that, I guess, elements from the city are going to drive out to their farms and rape them and take their shit. Like, you don't have anything anyone wants. That's why you live out there. You don't even have running water. No one wants your shit. So anyways, they got a gun sitting on the table. It's a knock at the door, so Bruce is also that's where his son gets it. His person goes, I gotta grab my gun. Folks, I mean, I guess now if you come to America, you just be prepared that if you're knocking at someone's door, someone's gonna have probably gun when they answer because, I don't know, we're very paranoid over here, apparently. We're very paranoid. And knock, 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 knock. Two cops are there. Hey, how you doing, sir? You hear the news? And then Bruce is like, look, you don't get off my property, I'm going to do something crazy. And he fucking shoots them both. I was like, all right, I don't know what happened for the first 3 minutes of this film, but if this is going to be the Bruce we get in this film, all right, you know what? Fuck it.
I mean, we're talking point blank range, multiple shots to the face.
Not great CGI for, but
no,
you know what?
But we'll
Fuck
take it.
We got it.
That's more than we've had. We haven't had any blood in a lot of movies. So
yeah, he just says, fuck you, and you know what? Fuck you too, but you know what? Fuck you too more times.
In the fucking face over here.
Then I guess we jump ahead, because it doesn't happen immediately, but this is where the whole point of this film makes absolutely no sense. They wrote a movie where they wanted, like the guy who wrote it, you've already heard his name, but I'll repeat it. The two gentlemen, Jared Cohen and Cam Cannon. They're not the Fabrizios, but getting a little close. Cohen also directs it. These guys wanted to make their own Die Hard add in where movie, and so they had to come up with something. But it's very, very veil thin. I have no idea what's happening, why this happens, why Bruce Willis, instead of tracking down the two cops that he feels are responsible for, one, killing his son illegally, and then arresting his son, and he's still in jail. When they arrest him, there's no drug paraphernalia. There's no drugs on the he's being held against as well. Like, there's no reason for any of the events to happen. They would said it's a wrongful shooting. All this would have already been cleared up, but we have to have a plot. So, okay. So Bruce Willis is like, do I A, hunt these two guys down who live in my community and fucking kill them while they sleep? Or do I B, hire a bunch of guys with money I'm not sure where I'm getting it from because they're leaving a really piece of shit house. I'm going to grab a bunch of mercenaries, like a lot of mercenaries, like 20 guys. Because we need, look, at least they kill a lot of people. At least they're not out of death. They're not out of guys. I'm going to hire 20 guys, okay? And I'm going to go back to where I used to work. Which you as the viewer don't know I used to work there till about an hour into the film. I'm going to fucking hold up a dam. You know what's going to happen? I'm pretty sure people who work there are related to the fucking cops. So I'm going to use some kind of fucking Jedi mind trick. I'm going to have them lured out there. And if they don't apologize and admit their faults, I'm going to keep opening another dam until I flood this place. That's what I'm going to do. This is my legacy. Suck my dick, Hans Gruber. Bing.
See,
that's
option A, hunt down the two cops. I'm there. But my son is in jail, so I'm going to flood the county.
Which is going to flood the jail. Right? Like, unless this county jail that we don't know, we never see a picture of, is up on top of a mountaintop, and he's flooding the plains to this place. Even the better part is, when the first floodgate goes open, and more water is coming in, and the rivers are starting to flood in, normally, police are shutting down traffic. There's helicopters deployed to find out what's going on. Calls are being made to the dam. What is going on? What happened? Like in one statement, someone was like, well, I guess they just can't hold back the water. It's like, they're so nonchalant about the town flooding.
Yeah,
and then we get inserted footage from
we're
other
flooding
countries.
the county, but no one's noticed. So it must be and we get
no one's noticed, but it's on the news, but no one's come out to the actual dam to find out what's happening.
And we get a lot of stock footage of some previous blood.
And one of them looked like there was a Hispanic gentleman crossing the street somewhere in South America, and they were using that as the town.
Yeah.
This white town in Georgia. It's just Literally Hispanics just hanging out, walking. I think there was palm trees. Like, all right, man, we couldn't have found a better flooding picture than these.
Yeah. So here we are. But there's someone you haven't mentioned yet.
Well, yes, we get our lead, Mr. Mac Carr, which for reasons we will not be able to explain, they say his name a lot in the movie, as if he's James Bond. Like,
I'm going to kill you, Mac Carr.
Exactly. When they refer to him, they're always saying his name. Like, why? Why do we say his name? Even Hans Gruber didn't say Mr. McClane that much. But again, first shot we get, we got to go over his medals. Got to make sure you, the viewer, knows this guy's fucking real. All right, he's a
he's real, all right.
And he's a drunk. And I got to say, I warmed to it. At the beginning, I was like, what is this fucking ridiculousness? But as the movie went on, I was like, all right, you know what? If we're going to play with this whole, we're John McClane, and you go completely different John McClane, I'm good with that. You know, I was like, okay, I can handle him. He was a serviceable actor. I enjoyed his performance, as like I said, as it went on. But when we finally do meet him, this guy's drunk. How long did it take him to actually get to his job? We go through like 12 minutes of him going to the work, getting stopped by 30 people, making coffee, like jerking a guy out. Like, I was like, does this guy work? He's late. He's hungover and he's just hanging out. Like, we're just having like all this like needless interactions with characters so that we know that he knows them. And then after that, he's like, all right. But I did like him. Played by 90210. Yes, Heartthrob. And also, I think he was in some soap operas here in America. Patrick Muldoon of the Muldoons.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? He was in Starship Troopers.
Yes, he was.
He's Denise Richards' love interest dude.
And a very lucky man back in those days, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. OnlyFans, anyone? Right. So if Casper Van Dien would have been playing the Mac Carr character, I think you'd be a lot more confident going in. But we get Denise Richards' love interest. It was a pretty... He wasn't a particularly memorable character from Starship Troopers, and I'm sure that was probably his peak.
Yeah, it's his claim to fame, along with being in some of the Aaron Spelling TV shows over here in America in the late 90s.
But anyway, but as you said, he's decent. You kind of warm to the guy. He's a kind of rough and ready.
He's got good presence. Yep.
He's rough and ready. He's got the quips. He's a bit of a mess, but
he'd have been great in our movie from season 1 that, again, I always forget, with Paul, with PMG. Him and PMG would have been great together.
Oh yeah, now you're talking.
And I thought we're gonna get another Precious Cargo. I thought maybe. Well, because once we figure out who he is, and then he's just this funny guy, and look at. I've said this about Nicolas Cage. Sometimes it feels over the top, but when no one else is doing anything, that's a lot of the times why.
Yes.
He's really trying to give something to this movie that, I mean, honestly, I was mad that it took him 12 minutes, but after a while, I was like, we can go back to the coffee thing. Because this action thing, while a lot louder and more guns and stuff happening, felt like a bad video game. Like a very bad video game.
Well, he's literally the Terminator in this, right? He's running around in...
It's almost as if he took a bet. He's like, not only am I going to kill people, but only with a handgun. I don't need these automatic weapons that I keep getting.
There's snipers shooting him. There's guys with machine guns littered everywhere, and he's just running... He's running for a while.
First off, the sniper was hired on Craigslist, and he's got cataracts.
Yeah, he's running around in plain sight in wide open spaces, and he's just...
And he's hungover.
He's hungover, and he's a fucking crack shot as well, this guy. I mean, there's moments in this, I'm like, wow, you picked him off pretty well there. But yeah, old Patrick Muldoon, as Mac Carr, is, he wins you over.
You got to say it a little bit better. Mac Carr. You got to yell.
I'll kill you, Mac Carr.
It's almost like the Khan from Star Trek 2.
If Willis would have at least done that once, that would have been fall to his knees.
Like I said, I don't think Willis knows he's in this film.
Nah, maybe not.
I mean, I don't think he knows he's in a Die Hard ripoff. I don't think he has any clue. He's there one day. That being said, the guy's quote that I said I was going to go with. This film is awful, but yet has moments. And I don't know, it's like a bad date that ends with like maybe a hand job. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, this is a terrible date. I had terrible food. I spent way too much. The movie you went to see was terrible. But at the end of the day, gave me a hand job in the car when I dropped off. It's kind of like, it wasn't a total loss. But at the same time, I don't know if I'm going to go back on this date again. You know what I mean?
This is kind of like if you're hungover yourself and you're late for work and you run into the kitchen just to grab something and there's a slice of cake there. And you're just, hopefully this will get me through the day. This movie is that slice of cake,
Yes.
all right? You're not going to feel great later,
Yes.
but it'll get you through. This is not a boring movie.
It's not a boring movie, but it's a boring movie. Like, there's a lot of action going on. But if anyone knows why, basically you're just sitting there watching things happen and you're just kind of like going with it. But at the same time, you're like, I really don't, you know how it's going to end. You know that Muldoon's going to pick everyone off till he gets to Bruce.
It's predictable. It doesn't make much sense, but...
We've seen worse. I think it's because we've seen worse.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we've said this before, you know, up against certain other movies, this is fucking Die Hard.
It may not get high marks at the end for me, but it is, again, I know everything that's coming out sounds strange. It's a better way to start season 3 than I thought we were going to start season 3, considering
Agreed.
season 2.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting Breach, but I was thinking we could get Trauma Center. I was like, Deadlock could be Trauma Center.
Yeah.
I mean, they even threw in a black partner for him. I mean, part Argyle, he's part Al. You know, I mean, the black guy in the toilet, it was just kind of like...
The only part he can't manage to pull off is being a good actor, unfortunately, because he's pretty bad.
He's one note.
Yeah. I'm the man.
He's playing a stereotypical black guy who has to be the life of the party to make white people feel disarmed.
Yeah, but he's the levity of the film, though. He can't act for toffee. But hey... Not a lot of them can, but there's some decent folks there that we've not got to yet. There's a couple. There's one particular we'll get to later.
Oh, I wonder if we're...
You know, I think anyway. Would
they not be of male?
No, it's a male.
Oh, okay. I have a female I thought was actually really good in the scene, and she came in late.
Well, I actually think most of the females are good in this.
You know what? You're right. Actually, you know why?
The pregnant woman's good
because EFO hires
hookers. Sorry.
Whores or women they want to fuck who are not actresses.
I would do that though.
In this, that's why you're wearing your EFO shirt right now. It was sent to him. He's signed and everything.
Can't see my tattoo.
He's the number one guy in the fan club.
Yeah, no, but seriously.
No, but the females in this film actually are acting. They're actually
his sort
pretty
of love
good,
interest is great, and
she is good.
The pregnant woman is good.
And then I think the young lady who he first talks to, who he knows a little bit more about, has the stepbrother who's the black cop who comes over.
She's not bad. She's not bad.
I thought she was very good. She emotes a shit ton of energy. Like, she actually looks scared. Bruce is decent. And by decent, I mean, again, we say this all the time. You got to go on this journey. Like, if you watch this if you just haven't watched one, and you sit down and put this in, you are going to absolutely be like, what the
fuck is going on?
I mean, if you didn't know he had a face, you'd be like, Bruce Willis is the worst actor ever. Because he gets acted off screen by the young lady I'm talking about in their moment together. He's not good. But they give him enough things to do and yell. He doesn't yell too much like he normally has lately. You know, just angry man in the lawn. Get on my lawn.
He's sort of a menacing presence in this.
He does, and
definitely.
he kills some people.
Yeah.
Again, it's not his fault that the script says, hey, instead of just going around killing the two guys who they easily just come out. A simple phone call, like, yeah, coming out. Like the one guy, the first cop he kills, who has the pregnant wife, like...
He just shows up.
She sounds nervous on the phone with him.
You'd think something's fucking wrong.
And he's like, I'll be out there, sweet cheeks. Just like, all right. He gets killed, and the other guy comes out, and he gets killed, and then it just goes off the rails.
It does, unfortunately.
They don't know how to end it, because they're trying to stay along the lines of Die Hard.
Yeah.
They even try to put some guy they call Gator as like the Klaus character.
Yes, he's definitely the Klaus.
But he's no Klaus.
He's no Klaus.
And he doesn't kill Klaus's brother. I mean, they have like a one moment of a fight, and then that breaks. Like, it's just not good at all.
No, but the actor I was alluding to earlier, who I really liked in this, is Matthew Marsden, who plays Boone. He's in John Rambo. He's schoolboy in John Rambo.
So he's the head of security now at this dam. Apparently, Bruce Willis's character, they were at war together. Apparently, they were Rangers or something together.
Yeah.
And then he was also, at one point, the head of security at the dam before he retired. And so now this guy's taken the actual the lead. And you're right, he was good. I did enjoy him. He was very...
Well, he's very good in John Rambo as well, so that was no surprise to me that it'd be good. He's British, actually, so...
Is he?
Yes.
Well done for him.
Yes.
And he's part producer.
Yeah, and he did I think he did pull off a really good accent, actually.
Yes, yeah.
So, as obviously. Yeah, so he was the one I was thinking, well, you know, Bruce is doing an okay job, I'll say that. Patrick Muldoon you're getting your money's worth there. You got this guy, Matthew Marsden's great too, and you've got the female actresses doing a good job.
You know, we had so we basically had a chance for Precious Cargo. You know, we talked about Apex and how the movie wasn't a great movie. We gave it to Bruce to end last season because the boys from Large and Company, they put together some fun moments at the end of that film.
Right.
That didn't happen here. Now, we had plenty of guys to kill, and there could have been some good kills and some fun things. But basically, we just had Patrick Muldoon running around this dam. Once again, most of these movies we've watched are hide and seek grab ass. The guy they need to kill, they have 1,000 guys, they can't seem to kill him. They can't seem to just, at one time, everyone get in a fucking line, walk towards him, and just open fire. Like, he can't get you all. Like, there's no like, they're all supposed to be special forces. There's no tactical. Even when the military shows up, which, again, the NSA does not run our damn system over here. That'd be Homeland Defense, if anything. Apparently, the NSA is involved. They don't know what the fuck's going on. They send a unit. That unit looks like they stopped at Walmart and asked if some people wanted to put on camouflage and run around with guns for an afternoon. They're awful, but the only good thing is they got out of this helicopter, they got out of this vehicle, and they just started killing people, which, you know, hey, I'm good for that. But for having so much action, we've asked for action for so fucking long. We finally get it, and it's so fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I picked up my phone so much during that movie. I was like when Muldoon is up on this thing, he's like, they're just shooting at him. He's caught between, like he's a sitting duck and they can't hit him. But these guys are special forces. It's like they got the stormtroopers. These guys were extras from Disneyland. They brought them in for the day. They've been acting as stormtroopers. You know what they're doing.
Actually, to backtrack, right, there's one thing that I just could not get my head around is at the beginning when he's pulling on the rope to get the guy to hoist him up.
Yeah.
And he doesn't because he's obviously... And there's a goon up there.
Yeah.
How Patrick Muldoon knows that guy is that there's anything even going on? Yeah, he just fucking climbs up and breaks his neck, and you're like, you didn't even know who this guy is. He could just be a guy stood on the bridge, but you somehow already know that you can't know that all this shit is going on, and you've just somehow in your head decided that this guy is a fucking mercenary. I mean, granted, he's got a bulletproof vest on, but he can't see that from when he
could be security. He could be NSA out there for something. He
could have been anything. Yeah, he's
would it have been great if he killed him? He was just like the bus guard, the bus security guard.
Oh shit,
like
Dad!
Yeah. Oh fuck, Steve! God damn it!
You forgot your lunch. He was bringing it in for you. He just broke his fucking neck. Anyway.
Yeah, like Paul said, you had to take a shit. I
couldn't find you. See, these little things are the very things that kind of hold you back from actually liking the movie. And there's a lot of it. Yeah, there's a lot of these things where they just hold you back from genuinely liking it as just a genuine average action movie. It's because they're not thinking about what they're doing. This is a sloppy movie.
And even the dialogue is just like, there's one moment where they've been sent to find this guy, Gator and his crew. They butt fucked us all over the place. And suddenly Gator gets called back by Bruce Willis's character or whatever. And he goes back. And he tells Bruce, because, yeah, we've got him trapped. Last time I was there, we had him trapped or something like that. And it's like Bruce Willis, like, yeah, what? There's no reason for Bruce Willis to have fucking taken the dam. There's none. None. He's just mad at two cops, and he wants an apology or them to admit it, which they decide to record and broadcast live, which we won't even get into why that's not a thing. But anyways, they record a moment where Bruce is sitting with one of them. With someone else, and you can see it. He's talking directly to them. Why the other two actors that are in the things he does later are not also refilmed at that same moment, I'll never know. Maybe they had diarrhea, they had IBS. Maybe they were out having lunch on the dam, pretending to weld. Don't know. But there is a guy they put in there who's a stunt double that you clearly can tell is not Bruce Willis. They don't show him from the side. They decide to think that because he's got a hat on, we won't notice that it's someone else to say. He looks a bit like Bruce Willis, but you know me, like, that's not Bruce Willis. And then they had that same guy add a line of dialogue in voiceover.
That's definitely not Bruce Willis.
That we didn't need. And you knew immediately that Bruce Willis. It was like, the fuck's happening?
Well, I had to kind of rewind it back because I was like, who said that? But I was genuinely like, who just said that? Well, that's certainly not Bruce Willis.
Nope.
But obviously, he was there for one day. I think he did a lot in that day because I was quite surprised when I heard that.
It is easy when you're just sitting down, not a lot of marks to hit.
No, he's got a lot of dialogue. He's got a lot going on.
You know what? This is the most action I think we've seen Bruce do in any of his. Now, I'm not saying it's his best action, but it's the most action we've seen. Like, he killed like 4 or 5 people. So he actually did a little bit more Like, he sat a lot, don't get me wrong. But when he was standing, if he stood up, you were in trouble. Basically, it's the moral of the story. Bruce is seated,
just the very
you're good.
fact. I mean, he's in half the movie.
He really is.
He really, I mean, which is a lot considering. I mean, if we just go back slightly to Midnight in the Switchgrass, where he's in the film for like 4 minutes.
At one time, he fucks off. He's like, you know what? I'm done doing my job. I'm going somewhere. Yeah.
And then he just shows up at the end again. So in this, you know, we've got him for quite a while.
And we've got the reverse problem for this film that we haven't had. Usually the problem is Bruce isn't there long enough, and they got to find shit to fill in. Where the Corey Large people put in, hey, let's bring in the mongrels and have some cool kills. And you're like, all right, this is the spots we're filling that Bruce couldn't do. In this one, all they seemed to prepare for was Bruce's day.
Yeah.
After that, they're just kind of like, hey, Patrick Muldoon, why don't you run around over here? We'll send a couple guys out there. Like, the running around trying to catch Patrick Muldoon was just Patrick Muldoon just basically becoming the Terminator.
Although Corey Large is on board as a producer on this one.
But he clearly wasn't on set at this one. Or if he was,
maybe not.
He was trying to finger bang some of the girls. I don't know what he's doing.
And again, and to jump forward, the showdown between Mac and Bruce Willis at the end, they're not in the same room.
Well, it's not even really a showdown. It's
the camera just goes to each character when they speak.
Yeah.
They're clearly not in the same room. But I think that this is one of the rare occasions where that was okay. Because I've noticed before when Bruce Willis is acting with a brick wall, you can tell. When there's someone else there, he seems to get more animated. But in this, for once, he got away with it.
Well, this could be foreshadowing. But season 1, Bruce Willis was killed off 6 times in a film, and twice we weren't sure of what happened to him. So 8 possible films out of 12, the ending for Bruce was death. Season 2, 1 time was killed on screen, lived 11 times. We start season 3 with sit down Bruce might be getting killed a lot in the season. I don't know yet, but we might be seeing a lot more of Bruce dying in season 3 than, well, except until we get to the Detective Nights at the end. He can't die because he's going to be the 2 sequels, unless those are all coma fever dreams, which at this point could be.
Or a prequel.
Yeah. Just keep being more prequels. He dies in the first, we just keep getting more prequels. But he dies in all of them. So we're not really sure when it happens. You know, overall, it's a forgettable movie, except for the fact that it's a clear Die Hard knockoff.
Yeah.
But unlike some of the other Die Hard knockoffs we've seen, it just doesn't go anywhere. The reason for it to happen makes no sense. The stuff that's happening makes no sense. At the end of the day, it would have been just easier if he just drove in that same afternoon to the policemen's homes and murdered them while they slept. And this, we would have all been saved 90 plus minutes of
Well, when you've got like 20 plus mercenaries at your disposal in a small town, a small county, that wasn't going to take you long to find these guys. It's not like you're in New York City or LA
or major metropolitan area. Yeah,
you're in buttfuck county and you've just got to find a couple of cops in a population of maybe 3,000 people.
Yes.
So let's not do that.
But also they have jobs that are public facing and they're easy to find because you know where they go every day. It's not like, you know.
Just go
I think he might be.
Just go to Dunkin'
I think he might be
Donuts.
working the railroad. Exactly. I think he's a bus driver for Greyhound. He may be on a trip to Mississippi today. We don't have to wait.
Just go to Dunkin' Donuts, do the old vanilla nut taps.
Exactly.
Do the vanilla nut taps.
Can't smoke in. I'm not smoking. My hands outside the door.
Get your nails over here. So yeah, that whole thing that is the thing that is just the hardest pill to swallow in this movie is the actual plot.
Yeah. It's a bad movie with moments like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you know, a few shining stars happen here and there.
But fuck
they
it.
get you off your phone.
I soon got past all that and I was just quite entertained by Patrick Muldoon just running around shooting people. Really. It's like I say, this guy's a crack shot, man.
Honestly, they did start a drinking game. You could do it's a slow drinking game, but anytime they say his name, Matt Carr, take a shot.
I'd be drunk.
Especially in the beginning.
Every
time you show up, hey,
like
Mac, I didn't think you show up today. Bang.
I'd be thrown up by the 20-minute mark.
Well, might help. Might have helped.
I don't want your damn money. You're an entitled little prick. Like an annoying rich kid. You think soldiers are free? I got plenty of money. And I'll spend all of it. That's who the fuck I am.
All right. So all this is about you fighting the system.
That's right. Something you know nothing about.
Enter your override code.
Excuse me?
You heard what the fuck I said. Enter your code.
And what if I don't?
If you don't enter your code, I'll make a small gesture with my finger like this. And then you'll have a nice little bullet rattling around in your fucking skull. Get the fuck over there. Do it. There's a good boy. Now, pull up the floodgate override.
I strongly advise that we don't do that.
Open gate 3.
That will cause flooding. The water level will raise too much. Please don't make me do that.
Did it sound like I was asking you?
Listen, there are 100,000 people that live in this county. Families, homes, businesses, they will all get destroyed. You understand? People will die.
Good. This is my legacy.
Your legacy. You're fucking crazy, man.
Thank you. You should try a little bit of crazy. I'll flood this whole place.
All right, we're going to move along to our final thoughts on Season 1's kickoff movie, Deadlock.
Favorite scene.
Start with our favorite scene. I'll go first because I kind of gave it away when I first spoke. My favorite scene is Whitlock, played by Bruce Willis, killing the two cops on his front steps. I don't think he's better than that moment in the movie, and I really appreciated it. And it's one of the rare times we get to see him play a villain since he was in Catch 44, where he had the nut allergy, but the sense he was wearing the box like that,
shit,
he was a
I
great villain in
forgot
that
about
one.
that.
Great villain in that one. But since he was kind of in those and played, it's been a long time since he actually kind of was like, again, he just gave it more of a I'm an asshole kind of feel to him. And we haven't seen Bruce Willis play like this, just disgruntled, mean guy, especially in this first 2 minutes. And he just shoots the two cops. So it's the most shocking thing he's done in these films besides being in them. And so for me, him killing the two cops on the front steps gets my nomination.
Fair play. For me, the best scene is really the action scene where Mac, the black guy.
What's his name?
I did know.
No, Mac. What's his full name? I don't. What,
Mac Carr.
Okay, thank you. Can you remind me?
Sorry, yeah,
you gotta say it right.
Yeah, you haven't heard it enough.
Carr, I'll fucking kill you, man.
So really, the black guy is the security guard, but obviously he's not fucking. He didn't sign up for this shit.
Like I said, he's Al and he's Argyle all wrapped in. That's who
he
he's playing.
He didn't sign up for this. But when they're getting to the boat and you got the sniper on him, he manages to shoot with a fucking pistol from like 200 meters up on a fucking roof.
In the head.
In the head. Which, you know.
Meanwhile, the sniper couldn't hit him if he was standing in front of him and swinging a giant fucking fly swatter. But anyways.
Yeah. But it's just the scene where the two guys are trying to get to the boat, and they do get to the boat. And funnily enough, there's our black dude. I feel really disrespectful calling him the black dude. So I'm gonna
Douglas Matthews.
He's not actually listed in the. He's not actually listed on the credits, on the cast and crew credits on
Really?
Letterboxd.
Well, I've got Douglas Matthews.
That's his name. That is his name. So yeah. So Douglas Matthews and Patrick Muldoon are getting to the boat. They get to the boat and there's fucking bodies flying everywhere, and he's just shooting his gun in all directions. And as they drive off on the boat, Douglas Williams says something funny. And I could only decipher half of it, so it can't be my favourite line. I watched it 10 times, and it's something to do with smoking a joint with a nun. And I cannot, it's something maybe along the lines of, I know this isn't my line anyway, because I couldn't do it justice, because I only fucking heard it. It's really muffled. He says something like, I had this much fun since I smoked a joint with a nun, or something like that. I made that up. That isn't what he said. But yeah, just that action sequence is... Because that's the most action-y moment in the movie, really. It's like...
It's a body cop moment.
Yeah, it's a body cop
that we
moment.
don't get any more really of from that.
Not really. Well, I mean,
on.
we get plenty of kills, but they're pretty unspectacular, but that's just a really good moment. So that was my long-winded way of saying the boat scene. That took me 15 minutes.
We've had two great boat scenes. Precious Cargo, the hockey slide shooting shotguns moment, and then this one.
Best one-liner.
All right, for best one-liner, once again, Bruce is going to get the nod on this one. And it's when he's always sitting in a chair. But when he goes, Miss Fulbright, where you at, Gankles? I was like, all right, that's pretty good. I wrote that down to me. I was like, all right, I like that one. There was a couple others, but I really liked just the way he said it. And hey, Miss Fulbright, where you at, Cankles? I was like, all right, Bruce, you know what?
That's the
It's
one.
been a minute since I've given you one. Do you get it tonight? What do you got?
Yeah, this one actually easy. Like I said, I couldn't decipher the one I liked, which I only got half of. So I've gone with it's the dick swinging contest between Bruce Willis and the first cop with the beard. And Bruce Willis is threatening the bearded guy's wife, the pregnant woman. And he says to Bruce Willis, "You can hurt me. If you touch her, I'll go to the grave with my fucking thumbs in your eyes." And I thought, yeah, that's pretty good. But then he gets shot and dies.
Look, everyone always likes to make these big tough guy statements, but when you've already been shot, you have no weapon, and everyone around you has weapons, you're going to the grave with your thumbs up your ass. Let's be honest.
That's Bruce's line, really. He's the one in charge here. He says that.
It might have been his, but he was like, I can't
remember. I can only remember. Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to say it to my earpiece.
Something about
hey, Cankles.
Thumbs.
Where you at?
Thumbs, eyes. I'll kill you. I think that's how it came out.
Something about fucking a guy with fries. What am I doing? Fucking this guy with fries? All right.
Best performance.
Best performance. I alluded to this young lady earlier, and I thought she did a great job. Her name is Kelly Lynn Reeder. She plays Amy. Amy is the young girl that Muldoon meets in the break room when it takes him 7 hours to get onto the job when he finally gets there. And look, it's a quiet moment for them, but she actually gets pulled in front of Bruce's character, calls her in after we've already killed bearded guy, Mrs. Whitlock, the Cankles girl. Her husband's dead. She's pregnant with the daughter. Call the other girl in, and she shows real fear. She's crying like she is really going through it. She's really emoting emotion. I really believed she was terrified. She was going to be murdered. She was going to be killed, that she knew her stepbrother was a piece of shit, wasn't going to answer the phone, so she's going to die because of this cocksucker. She actually was one of the few people I actually believed had emotion. So I liked Miss Kelly Lynn Reeder as Amy. Well done, Miss Reeder. You're already going in. Supporting actress for the Bruceys of season 3. So well done for you, honey. All right, over here. What do you got over there?
That's a fair comment. So, best actor for me, Matthew Marsden as Boone.
Okay. I figured you were going that way.
Yeah. Both times I watched it, he seemed like the best actor in the movie, really. He had the best range. He was quite menacing when he needed to be. Mm-hmm. And a bit soft as well with Mac because they're friends.
After that sex, we didn't talk about
when
their sex scene
they're
together.
Fucking and there's just fucking...
A lot of emotion. You could tell they really loved each other. When they're cuddling, it's amazing.
A lot of baby oil, a lot of blood, dildos flying everywhere. There's like a fucking P. Diddy
And the final
party.
Docking scene was...
Yeah, it was like a P. Diddy party over here.
I had to pause it and
yeah,
cry.
but anyway. No, but because Mac is trying to get through to him that this is just a fucking bad situation and you can turn this around. So, yeah, I think he was... for me, the best actor in the piece.
You know what? Fair. I enjoyed him as well. I feel like he might be one of your nominees. Oh, next year. Well, we got a long time.
Yeah, maybe.
Favorite character.
All right, we're on to favorite character. Listen, she was my favorite performance. She's not my favorite character. There can only be one. That man's name is Mac Carr. Mac Carr. Patrick Muldoon is tasked with an unenviable task. He is asked to be Bruce Willis' character-esque in a movie that is a straight Die Hard ripoff. Oh, but did we tell you, Mr. Muldoon, that Mr. Willis himself is in the film and he's playing the bad guy? So good luck with that. At first, probably because the way the movie starts, he feels like a fish out of water because we start really dark. And then all of a sudden we got this guy who's like dick jokes and, you know what I mean? You're kind of like, wait a minute, what's going on? We've got a drunk guy who talking to himself and he's got a fucking crackhead sitting on his porch. You're like, what's really happening here? It takes him 6 hours just to get to work. But when you finally settle into him, I really did enjoy him. He was my PMG for this film. He really put in a good performance. He was a fun character. He totally stays away from trying to be John McClane, which I totally appreciate. It's not his fault that they made him Django. He's the fastest gun. He hits everything like he's just a bullseye. He literally could shoot the gun in the opposite direction. The bullets can hit something and kill the guy anyways. That actually would have been a fun little thing. I don't think I can miss. Bang, ding, ding, it just kills him. But Mr. Patrick Muldoon is Max Carr. I'm gonna fucking kill you. Get him, son, get him. What do you got?
You said it, man. Matt Carr. Fucking Patrick Muldoon over here.
Spelled with a K, by the way, not with a C and with two R's.
See, when it starts, I got a vibe of Martin Riggs a bit. Like he was just a bit of a mess, you know. And he kind of calmed it down. Another bit we forgot to really mention, but I thought was really cool, was with him and Gator. When he says to Gator, all right, I'm out of bullets, let's fight man to man. And then Gator puts his gun down and says, come on then, and then he just fucking shoots him. And I thought that was great. But yeah, Patrick Muldoon, he's a bit, because he's got he's got a boy band haircut. He looks a bit like Rob Lowe's simple brother. That's the best way I could put it without us getting cancelled again.
Can't get canceled when no one's listening, sir. You can't get canceled.
They're listening in the future, man. But yeah, he looks like Rob Lowe's simple brother. I don't know. I just liked him. He's got the presence. He's got character. He knows the kind of movie he's in, and he's not phoning anything in. He gives it his all.
No,
he gives it his all.
He does.
And so he really makes the character of Mac Carr.
You just remind me of a moment too. There's a moment where he rappels off of this rig. It looks like an oil rig at this one. Like it doesn't look anything like a dam. Like I don't know where he is. And there's a guy walking down these stairs, and he lands, and the guy walking down the stairs as if he doesn't see him, and then he just punches him in the face, and he just keeps going. I thought, you know what? That is Juilliard acting right there, because we all see the guy walking. Why he doesn't shoot him out of the? Why that guy didn't just shoot him? I don't know. He just kind of like whatever.
If you didn't see this guy,
he just kept with it.
I don't know what's going on. But yeah, no, I know that bit as well. I know this movie cost ultimately $3 million probably.
It actually was $11 million.
Well, no, but a lot of that is probably Bruce Willis's money.
Probably, yeah. To sit in a chair for a day? Yeah. It's the most I got out of him for a whole
but what
day.
I mean is, he's like, sure. I know this is a piece of shit little movie, but I'm going to treat this like I am in Die Hard, basically. So... Mac Carr, Patrick Muldoon is the dude. He's the one.
All right, it's time for our moment of truth, the first one for season 3.
The moment of truth.
Now, did Mr. Willis drop a Deuce or a Bruce? If this was the first movie we saw in season 1, I would be telling you he dropped a Deuce. However, I have been on a 5-month journey, and I've seen all manner of performances from Mr. Willis. I've seen him be exceptional in movies, and I've seen him barely breathing in movies. And in this one, for being on set a day, he has a lot more lines. He's not yelling as much as normal. Look, he's not in charge of the plot, so we can't bag him for the plot. Makes no sense of the things why he's doing it, but when he gets a chance to do them, he's a bit menacing. He plays a decent villain, and I love that opening where he just steps out and shoots the cops. And so for me, to start off season 3, and we ended season 2 with it, but I'm going to give him a Bruce because I actually enjoyed his performance. Like that guy said, this is not his worst performance 2021. Surprisingly enough, I mean, he sits in a chair a lot, but at the end of the day, he was decent. I really did like him, considering, again, folks, we're talking about his STDs. We're not talking about his cinematic gold from his early part of his career. So if you can pull your heads out of your ass for that, you can see these for what they are, you might see it as a Bruce as well.
He most definitely dropped a Bruce.
Let's see what Mr. Smith says as we kick off season 3.
This was definitely a Bruce. Look, previous movies on this podcast, if you'd have said he was on set for a day, I'd be like, no shit. But I'm actually surprised he was only in it for one day on this.
They got so much out of him. And they shot it all during the day. Like, they got a lot out of him in whatever many hours they got.
Yeah, literally, he's there, he's in it, he should be on the poster of this one.
Yes, right? He deserves to be on the poster, yeah.
And he's good as well. There's a few things where they had to use a voice, someone else's voice, and that's pretty bad, but it'd gone by then, probably. This is in post, so that's not his fucking fault. Yeah, this is definitely a Bruce. He's interesting in this, and he does some cool, memorable shit, and that's more, that's more than we can say for a lot of these movies.
He most definitely dropped a Bruce.
Again, as we always say, gotta take the journey. Had we seen this movie too early in the journey, probably would have been a different
it would be. Yeah,
response.
Definitely probably would be.
But what we've seen of him lately, he has dropped a lot of deuces in the last
And that's just
season,
the way it was, yeah.
He's moved it forward.
Yeah, so definitely a Bruce. Definitely.
Now we move on to something. I don't know if we're going to be split on this or we're going to see eye to eye. We rarely split on these. But is the movie a Bruce or a Deuce? While there are some interesting moments in it, and we can have some fun, when you look back, there's some funny moments, I got to give this movie a Deuce because it is just ridiculous. As you said, simple. Like, this is just harebrained. None of it makes sense. We have some people doing fun things in it, but they're just doing it and they don't know why they're doing it. None of this movie makes sense. Not memorable. You get bored quite quickly. Then something will happen. You go, oh, okay, I'm back in. And then you're bored again. And then something happens. And it's only 90 minutes. I paused the movie last night at 57 minutes and said, fuck, I got another 48 to go. I was like, I thought this was almost over. So right then and there, it's like, this is going to be a deuce. When you pause a movie and I pick up my phone to check things,
It's not a good sign.
No. And again, a better start than I expected. I think it's the 15th film, and we've done 25. So there are 10 far worse. But unfortunately, we kick off season fucking 3 with another deuce, at least in the film category.
This film was definitely dropped a deuce.
Yeah, I'm afraid to say this one's a deuce for me. Again, we've said this term before. It's a heroic failure. It's a hair away from being a low Bruce.
If Corey Large and his buddy, I'm forgetting the director's name, if they had rewritten this and they had directed it, we might have had a better film. Again, in B standards.
What if Corey Large does the script and plays the black guy?
Or even Gator. Yeah. Something.
So yeah, this is like a high deuce.
This film was definitely dropped a deuce.
And it's a hair away from being a low Bruce. It's just not quite there. But at the same time, it's worth a watch.
It had the elements, what we looked for. It had bodies, so we could kill, and we had action, but we just...
It's just not quite.
It's an action movie that the action goes... How many times is like the best scenes? And I thought this is crazy when I thought about it. Actually, the dialogue scenes were more engaging when the guys talked. Most of the time, you're like, let's just get to the action. You guys are saying nothing, and you're doing it a lot. Let's just shoot somebody. We usually have no body counts. We got to walk around the woods forever. We have plenty of people to kill. We even send the military in at the end, and it still is not exciting
This
at
is
all.
the problem.
That's bizarre.
But it's worth a watch, though. You could do worse in this world than watch this movie.
Go on my letterbox at the Church of Tarantino. I've got a list. You can see the half stars, 5 or 6 of them at the bottom.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're starting off with a deuce. But Bruce gave us a Bruce, so...
Good sign. We had a rough mid to end of season 2 that took the wind out of us. Season 2 was Rocky 1. Season 2 is where we were trying and we got our asses whooped. Season 1 is Rocky 2. We finally beat Apollo Creed. We're like, hey, we're the champs. Season 2 got our fucking dicks wrung. We got knocked out. So we're like, hey, maybe this is more like Rocky 4. Maybe we'll get a couple of good punches in. We'll take a couple shots to the face, but maybe it'll be a balance.
Although this is a deuce, there are worse deuces than this.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's all we can really say. You're going to have to watch them. Some fucking balls over here and watch the fucking movie.
Hey, season 1, we don't start off with the old fucking Roadhouse. There's no double deuce.
No.
So we get a Bruce for Bruce, a deuce for the film, and we have finished our 25th movie. We only got 15 to go. You can start to feel every month. We feel a little bit looser.
Yeah,
All right,
we're sort of, got the rope-a-dope going. We'll get there.
Season 3 could surprise us.
There's all to play for.
Don't forget, we all got to go out there and kill Mecca. And that will do it for our 25th episode. Please feel free to reach out to us on the show's socials, which can be found in the show notes, and tell us what you thought about this film, how you feel about Bruce as an actor, or even to let us know what you think about the podcast. We'd also greatly appreciate it if you give the show a like, leave us a review, and follow the show on the Last of the Action Heroes Podcast Network, where you can find other amazing podcasts dedicated to such iconic action stars as Stallone, Lundgren, Van Damme, Schwarzenegger, and Seagal. The link to the network can also be found in our show's notes. So won't you please join us again next month as Steve and I pull our Willis Winnebago over to review 2021's action thriller, Fortress. So until then...
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
This has been a Man with an Exceptional Beard production.